allow thoughts to come in, but also to go away, and to, before one becomes reactive, to actually just sit in silence and sit in stillness. And I guess in theater, we often talk about ideas, provocations, impulses emerge out of a kind of quiet. And it can be the hardest thing in life to carve out that time, but we'll just take a few minutes before we launch into a space of listening and a space of searching for those impulses, to just sit in that chair and put a little focus and attention on your own physical presence. If there's anything ailing you, anything that's sore, go ahead and put a little attention and love into that space. And you can start by just putting your thoughts on your feet, how they're doing right now, flat on the floor. If you notice anything about the weight in which they hit the ground. As we're doing this, I'll be talking a little bit, but I think there's other things to notice. Sometimes we ignore things that are right in front of us. There's that funny video of people passing a basketball while a gorilla costume runs across the place, and if you're focused on the basketball, you miss the gorilla. Well, here, there are things that we otherwise miss when we're narrowly consumed with our own lives. And so you could just take a moment to listen to the air conditioning and maybe the birds outside and any other sounds that might be happening, maybe even the inhale and exhale of those around you. You could put a little focused attention on your legs, the lower part of your leg, the upper part of your leg, your kneecaps, how they feel seated. Whether you could even imagine what's going on under the skin, all of the hundreds of movements that are there even in stillness. You can travel up into the belly and the gut. So much research in the last 25 years about all of the important enzymes and bacteria that are going on in our gut, and how they're almost the best representation of our own human health. There's so much movement and catalytic energy generated from that heat source. You could travel up into your heart, your spine, your sternum, your ribs. Take a little time to focus on your breathing, the thing that's most obvious and the thing that's most challenging, to maintain a depth of breath, fuel that stimulates our brain and our body, makes us connected between our physical self and our mental self. The thing that in acting school you spend 3 years focused on how to breathe properly so that you can be present and interesting and compelling on stage. Travel into the shoulders, down the arms, into the fingertips. And into the neck, realizing that for 25 plus, probably 18 or 19 years, we've been balancing our big old brains on this 7 vertebrae that are basically like a big bowling ball balanced on the tip of a fingertip, and how much that weighs on us, and how much we can take a moment to just think about lifting off of our neck as opposed to having everything plunge back down. You can think about all the different parts. Biologists think about all the different systems that are going on simultaneously, how they're in conversation with one another, but how sometimes the inner battles or about miscommunications between different parts of our own self. But also think about the unity. The fact that your toe has some communication with your shoulder, your heart has some communication with your cortex. And not only the unity of self, but the unity of community. And though this space wasn't a space we were able to enjoy when we were students, there's many spaces that we have seen today and yesterday and later tonight that immediately bring us 25 years into the past. And how surprising and important that can be to feel time bending, time shrinking, time when it feels like another lifetime, time when it feels like yesterday. See if you can take this tuning of your own instrument that is both making something, receiving something, synthesizing information, and stay in that space as much as you can over the next hour and a half before we return to the campus and return to all of the connections and reunions that we've been having. You can go ahead and open your eyes. Return focus to our fearless leader.
We are all leaders here today, and thank you. Let us thank Quinn, and now you know why his MFA students love working with him so much, to get to open with those gifts. Can we open up the circle so that we can all get in?